one doing it, or you're the corner on the island, or the receiver, or the quarterback, or the linebacker. I think about a couple plays. I think about the San Diego game, right in the backfield. You know, how do you measure that moment? How do you measure that moment to be at your best?
For me, when I stood up on the block at World Championships, the Olympic Games, any major international competition, I knew I was the most prepared human on that pool deck. Because I know that nobody would have been doing what I was doing day in and day out. Getting up at 6 o'clock and getting in the pool, all the recovery, the eating, the stretching, all the small things. And that's what I was saying. Stack those small things on top of each other. You've heard him say it so many times. Those small things are the reason why I want to race by 1/100th of a second, 5/100ths of a second. Faster than you snapping your fingers. It's what you do behind closed doors that no one sees, that gives you the opportunity to stand out on this field every single week during the season and be great. Coach has got you all ready, right? But every single day, you have to be on top of those small things. You miss a step, you're giving your opportunity or your opponent something else. For me, every single box was checked off. When I stepped up on the block, I knew what was going to happen. My dreams and my goals were bigger than anybody else on the planet, especially in the swimming pool. I worked the hardest. That's why I got the results. So for me, when I step up, it's preparation only. There were times when I stepped up in the 2012 Olympics where I wasn't fully prepared. And I got the results that I deserved. Sometimes I didn't make the podium. Sometimes I got second or third. That's not what I want. I want to be up top. So for me, that's why I came back in 16 and said I'm doing it my way. Because when I retired, I wanted to hang my suit up and say I've done everything I could put my mind to. 23 Olympic golds, that was it.
Ray Lewis.
I'm going to follow that. Come on. Come on.
We think you got it in.
Guys, man, listen, it's special to see you guys every year. The challenge is this, right? What Mike is talking about. What will you do with time? Life goes. Life keeps passing. And one day, you're going to go back and say, what did I do with time? Did I waste it? Did I use it? Did I abuse it? I don't care what you have. It's how you use what you have. I don't care what's in front of you. It's the moment that you feel that I have to give everything I got to the preparation. So when the moment comes, I soar in that moment. This is where we're missing life. This is where we're disconnected. Because everything else can pull you away from what you're supposed to be doing, which is your purpose. Talent is the easiest thing you will ever be given. It's what you do with it that decides your purpose. We're talking about a championship. A championship starts with a mentality of using that facility. If I was me, I'm over here at 9:30 at night because there's nothing else to do but go to sleep at the crib. If I'm trying to touch glory, if I'm trying to see the top of the mountain, what will you do with time? We don't have it. Savor the moment. When this team is built, when the last preseason game is played, and this team is built, and you're up on that podium, and you're standing there, and it's your moment, and it's 4th and 2, and I'm saying, I saw this hand before. If you do that same thing on me, because of my preparation, I will destroy your entire dreams. Proper preparation prevents poor performances. Stop riding on talent. Ride on purpose. Ask God every day, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to lead somebody, even when we lose? Hold your head up high. I'm going to leave you with this one thought. Every step you take, do you want to remember it yourself? Every motive you make in life, do you want to judge yourself? Because the game fades, bro. But what doesn't fade, it's the day that you host Lombardi as a champion and know the injuries and know the doubts and know the faults we went through. And we found that we could do it. That's what champions do. God bless you all. Coach, I appreciate it. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes. Now, normally I do not start off a show with that, but given everything from this weekend, given everything we're going to be talking about today throughout the week, given it all. I had to just let it rip. I couldn't say nothing. I can't add a thing to that. To see the week before, that video went viral on my feed maybe a couple days before I took my flight to a couple days from Friday. I took a flight to Maryland, BWI, Baltimore, Washington Airport, and to have that as I was getting prepared for this week, I just had to let it rip because my goodness, you have Ray Lewis, man. Sugar Lou, and Michael Phelps. See, my generation, my crew, the people born 1989, early 90s era. No, when you're talking Ray Lewis and Michael Phelps, you're talking about a different standard, a different level of greatness, and given the ties they have to Maryland, and knowing that I was going back to Maryland this weekend and celebrate my niece, get a chance to see my father and see how he's developing and all that. I just had to do it. All right. So all that being said, let me just introduce myself to anybody that is new to the channel, new to me, new to this world, new to what we do around here. First and foremost, my name is Aswan Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, very, 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 very soon to be 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole framework, this whole concept, this whole way of life, this whole mindset. That's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses, applying them to business owners so they have a staff and a group of employees that moves as efficiently, as cohesively, has the same structure, has the same mindset, has the same eagerness, has the same passion, has the same goals as a championship youth or high school football team. That is what we do around here. We translate what you just saw, that togetherness, that cohesion, that mentality. We translate that into the business world so you owners have a group of people, a staff, that group of employees that takes the initiative, that goes out and grinds, that uses the facility, that does not run around and complain about bullshit all day, but they are constantly figuring out, how do we get better? How do I self-improve? How do I make myself more valuable for the organization? See, the issue with a lot of you business owners right now is you've given someone a check and they are just taking the check and they're not improving at all. They're just content with where they are, and you giving them a salary, giving them whatever comfortable number they're happy with, and they're not building, they're not growing, they're not taking the initiative and applying some of the things that they've learned and applying them to the position to make themselves and the organization better. They're not working towards that. They're just trying to make it through the day, and collect their check and collect their tenure and all that bullshit. What you need to do is you need to establish an environment that's going to make it so people got to improve. It's either adapt or die. It's either get better or get the fuck out. That has to be the mentality if you want to build something substantial. Trust me when I tell you, there's a lot of things that I have to unpack from this weekend, this experience I had this week, and a lot of things that need to get unpacked. I don't have time to fully go into all of them yet. I haven't really sat down and put some notes together and gotten everything going, but just trust and believe. I got significantly better in the past 48 hours in terms of focus, in terms of where it is we're going, in terms of how we're going to really build this thing. So all that being said, let me get through a few announcements and then we're going to get right into the article. Today, the Make Your Move kickoff question today is, what is confidence? All right. Seems like it's basic. Seems like it's something that you would be able to answer in 10 words or less. But what actually is leading to confidence? What is confidence? How do you feel it? How do you absorb it? How do you develop it? How do you make sure you're walking around where it's oozing, like it's oozing out of you, right? You ever met someone that's just oozing with confidence? You ever heard the phrase, someone's oozing with confidence? It's just bursting out of them because they're in their zone, they're in their place. And there's no better example of it displaying that than the sports world, right? Whether you see Michael Phelps in a pool, whether you see Michael Jordan doing his thing, whether you see clips of Ray Lewis, going and making his plays, there's a level of confidence that becomes displayed when you really have put in the preparation and put in details after details after details after details after details, and you're going about doing your work regardless of the people trying to get in your way, regardless of the roadblocks, regardless of all the folks that are doing everything in their power to stop you from building this dream that you have in your head. You are going to just keep on climbing. That's what we're going to discuss today. That's confidence in terms of you could do your job wherever it is you need to do your job. You could do whatever it is you do wherever it needs to be done. That is where it is. That regardless of the salary, if it was feasible, you'd be able to do it without getting paid. You got to get into that level. You got to be moving towards that level of confidence because you put in the work. You put in the work. So first and foremost, as I expressed, business owners, we're here to serve you. The entire Move Swiftly mindset, the entire Move Swiftly concept, the entire acronym and what this whole company was built on was serving you business owners so you have that staff that moves cohesively. All right. Free guide. Step number one is freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That's freeguide.makeyourmove.com. We work from a very, 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 very simple formula here. It's number one, you got to establish measurables plus creating that professional distance, mixing the two. All right, taking a mix. It's like that little ball of yin yang or whatever it is. Taking a solid mix of measurables and a professional distance and allowing that to create a productive environment. Without those two things being merged day in and day out, you will not get the productive environment that you need. You need the measurables and you need the distance. I'm telling you right now, living proof example, I'm living through it as we speak, lived through it. I've seen businesses go under because they have not established a mix between measurables and a professional distance, and everything was just reaction. You're just reacting to some bullshit that's going to keep you from getting fired. No, you want to be constantly thinking ahead, proactively solving a problem that you know is going to come up. You got to be in that place. Like with me, look at the example I could tell you right now. With me, I'm already knowing 2 or 3 weeks in advance what my themes are going to be, how it's going to work. Everything is already scheduled out mentally. So then I sit down, I have a weekend like I had this weekend where I'm traveling, I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. I can sit down right now and say, hey, I knew what I was going to talk about because I thought about it 2 weeks ago. I knew what I was going to talk about 2 weeks ago. So now it's just a matter of execution. Thinking ahead makes it so you can execute in a certain way, regardless of the things that come up and what might come up and all that kind of stuff. So all that being said, simply click that button below, the button that you see on your screen if you're looking at this on either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, or if you're listening to this on the Move Swiftly podcast, is freeguide.makeyourmove.com. 10-step process. You start reading it and you at least get the ball moving in the right direction. I'm not going to tell you it's going to solve all your problems, but it's going to at least get you thinking the way you need to be thinking. All right. Next thing, weekly scenario.makeyourmove.com. All right. So here's what has happened. Here's the big announcement, the huge news. Super, super excited about it, super appreciative of it. But I will be hosting a live college football show starting in 2 weeks. All right, Labor Day weekend, hosting a live college football show, bringing in the college football season. And what I am doing in regards to how to engage fans, engage people, engage everyone is creating something called a weekly scenario. Very, very simple process. Put your email in, you'll get a text or an email, regardless of whatever it is you prefer, about some scenario, whether it's what a coach is going through, whatever the hot topic is, whatever the headline is. And we're going to discuss it and we're going to tie it in to how this affects you as a business owner, what you can learn from it, what are the takeaways, what are the things that you can watch this game that is so popular, that has so much popularity, and apply it to your business so you can develop this level of loyalty, the same level of loyalty that you see on the field with these guys out there busting their ass to make a team or to win a championship. You want to watch the game and look at it from that lens. That's the beauty about sports marketing. That's the beauty about sports media in general, at least sports media done the right way, not the gossipy bullshit that you hear on the mainstream. You want to be able to translate. Hey, you business owner that's responsible for sponsoring a lot of the stuff going on. This is what you can learn when you see a running back jump from the backfield, and then he goes to slot receiver, and then he could jump back here in the backfield and then pick up this blitz. There's a dynamic there. There's a value in that one player not being able to or not needing to come off the field. So this play caller can do a lot of different things with this one guy on the field and making a lot of things happen. There's so much to be learned in your business with that. Trust me, I'm living proof example of this. I've seen it over and over again, and it remains true when you really break down and understand what the game's all all about. All right. And finally, next thing, for the folks who are not about all that free stuff, you're the business owners that we love to work with around here that just says, shut up, as one, take my money, and let's figure out how we're going to build this thing. We love you. You're my favorite people around here. We're favorite people around here. All right. Employee development workshops, all that stuff is available on makeyourmove.com/shop. You can get the workshop, you can get the books, you can get the boxing lessons, coloring books, whatever it is you need, it's all available there. And do all the research that you need to do on me. Turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business It's common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you've just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there's no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book your meeting with Aswan, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. Whew. All right, and that is what we. Oh man, I didn't even get off my. All right, and that is it for the announcements today. Let me get this. Give me a second, and let me get the article pulled up for today, and then we're gonna jump right into the content, not just necessarily for today, but what we're gonna be discussing throughout the week. We are really doing a deep dive. Again, a deep dive into what exactly is confidence. What do you feel? How does a person develop in their confidence, regardless of the things, the excuses that folks are prone to make, are kind of naturally moved into, right? You're always hearing about some dream or some goal that somebody has, but then you run into folks that tell you, oh, well, this person can't do that. People don't do that. It's hard. It's this, it's that, all sorts of excuses that lead to a person not even trying. Yet you get the few, you get the maybe 5% of the world, and that's being generous, to be honest with you. You get the 5% of the world that has the confidence to do things, say they're going to do something, and then over a period of time. This is not some surface level bullshit. This is not some, one hit. If I don't hit by this time, and then I'm just going to quit trying. I'm not going to accomplish whatever I said I wanted to do at the beginning. This is not that. What this is talking about a person who set a goal years ago, and it's documented and you can see it, and they're still doing the same thing. They're still moving in a direction in which they said they were going to be moving in decades ago. That's confidence. It's a long-term. How do you develop that long-term grind, that long-term, I'm so damn focused, I'm so laser-like focused that I don't give a shit who it is, what it is they say, how many objections you're going to have to deal with. I'm going to keep rolling because it's me. It's actually me putting myself out there every single day. We want to develop that confidence. When you tap into that place, folks, I'm telling you from experience, when you tap into that place, your sweet spot, there is absolutely nothing that will stop you. Not a thing will stop you from going to the places that you want to go. When you are actually in a structured system, and it's a structured system that you have had some part in. You're not going out doing something for somebody else. Yes, you may be working for somebody. Yes, you may be depending on other folks to get paid for a paycheck or whatever it is. But there's something about the system that you've created in your own life, given the resources that you were made for you, that develops a level of confidence. See, a lot of people throw out the term entrepreneurs as if it's just a person who has their own business and they started their own business and they hit a home run because they're only getting paid based on their own business. That is not the case. There's some entrepreneurs out there making billions of dollars, and there's some entrepreneurs in the red, like losing money every day. Like there's a sense of pride that comes, there's a sense of confidence that comes along with being an entrepreneur. All right. In fact, that's probably gonna be something I dive into on a later date. But all that being said, let's get into today's article and what it's all about. And you guys saw a little bit of the preview of it to start the show with the two legendary cats, especially in my world, being from the Silver Spring, Maryland area, you see Ray Lewis and you see Michael Phelps doing anything, you're like, okay, that's a different ground. That's a different level. That's a different mentality. Michael Phelps and Ray Lewis are royalty when it comes to Maryland, right? So that was that. When I saw that speech, I was like, dude, I was moved throughout all last week when this speech went viral. All right, so here we go. Welcome back to another Make Your Move Monday, right here on the Move Swiftly platform, where we kick off every week with a thought-provoking question designed to challenge how you think and leave you better than we found you. Hear me on that one, okay? A thought-provoking question designed to challenge how you think. Challenge how you think. It is meant to mentally make you a little uncomfortable, meant to mentally push you in a place where you're prepped for whatever's going to happen this week. And trust me, something's going to happen this week. And you got to be pushed in a way where you're like, look, I knew it was going to happen. I'm prepped for it. I'm ready for it. Let's go. Let's go. Right? So here it is. This week's kickoff question. What is confidence? Oh, boy. What is confidence exactly? What exactly is confidence? Let me start by saying my chest is poked out. So I wrote this last weekend when I saw the video. You guys already saw it. So my chest was a little poked out when I saw this. So I'll poke it out again so I can read it to you with the chest poked out. Like, yeah. Yeah. DMV all day, baby. All right. So let me start by saying my chest is poked out with pride as I write this one. Born and raised in Maryland, played linebacker, and just recently took a visit back home. Between that and the Top 5 Tuesday article I dropped on role models. This was 2 weeks, last week, two weeks ago, I think. The Top 5 Tuesday article I dropped on role models. You could read it here. Show it to you real quick. This is Top 5 Tuesday. This was August 5th, right? So it was 2 weekends ago, 2 weeks ago. And the video I posted, you could watch it in. That was the video I played. Let's get it. Oh, right, no. Yeah, it was the video and the Top 5 Tuesday. So it was video and written. So Top 5 Tuesday on role models. I talked a little bit about Ray Lewis and Jay-Z and a lot of those folks, right? So the stage was already set for this week's stream, but the match that lit the fire. This Ray Lewis and Michael Phelps pep talk with the Ravens. 2 icons, one message. Confidence comes from doing the work. Let's break it down. All right. Definition check. Confidence, the feeling or belief that one can rely on something or something. Firm trust. The key word, the key phrase in this is firm trust. All right. Confidence comes from a firm trust. Hear me on this. There's a firm trust in whatever it is you're trying to do. Firm trust, really understanding, believing. I actually experienced a little bit I re-experienced a little bit of that this weekend because I got a chance to see my mother in Maryland, and there was a firm trust that 2 people who, obviously love each other and all that, but there's a firm trust that knowing my mother has this mentality that no matter what, she's going to take care of business because everything that I get in terms of my mentality, it comes from that woman. And the more confidence you have in yourself, you start to look back at the people that gave you that confidence, that taught you how to be confident, that taught you how to develop it. No matter what, you're going to make sure certain things are in place. There's a firm trust there. There's no better feeling than having that firm trust. And that firm trust, no matter what, nobody can take it from you. That's the big thing. There's a firmness there that not an individual who's a pessimist, not some hating person, not some person who doesn't have that kind of trust and the belief in themselves. Those people that don't have it, they can't take away the firm trust that you have in yourself. All right. Do you get that? Are you hearing me when I say that? All right. The people who don't have that firm trust in themselves and how they operate, and they're always depending on somebody else and always complaining about what somebody else is doing and trying to find reasons not to do what the hell it is they need to be doing. They can't take away from you what trust you have in yourself because you have it in your own ability and you've developed it over a period of time. You need that shit. All right. Plain and simple. You need that shit because the world is filled. Let me tell you, and I didn't plan on talking about this right now, but let me tell you, nowadays, and this was kind of the the double, I don't want to call it a double edge or something that I had to think through, because I was at my niece's sweet 16 birthday party this past Saturday. And what I noticed, one of the things I picked up on was the fact that now this new generation of kids, they're partying with these, they're partying with their phone. They out here just, getting it. They got to have one hand on the phone. They're like, everybody's in the crowd just have their phone out. And what I'm bringing that up because what now is happening is everything starts to become for the gram. It's like my cousin was joking with me, he goes, yo, everything's for the gram now, B. I pointed that out. I pointed that out to my cousin who, back in the day we used to party together. He goes, yo, nowadays, B, everything's for the gram. Everything. He goes, everything B is for the gram. No matter what you doing, you gotta have it all on the gram, B. And you you and your friends gotta get together. And it's like, yo, what's appropriate for the gram and what's not? But everything is for the gram, B. You ain't party, it's for the gram now, dog. I'm laughing because it's one of those things where I'm not gonna sit up here and be that old head like, oh, that's a bad thing. I'll tell you there's some good and there's some bad with it. There's things that open up, when you're talking about the gram per se. Now you've opened yourself up to, meeting people outside of your local community. And now, the young kids now, they have a bigger worldview and they start seeing themselves as folk that can communicate with folks outside of just what's in their local circle, whatever. So who knows, that can lead into something good. But no matter what happens, the confidence, right? The confidence is going to have to be there regardless. Instagram or no fucking Instagram. The confidence has to be there. And that's going to come from the work that you're doing without the cameras being on. Straight up. Even if the cameras are on per se on, your phone or whatever, the confidence comes from the work that's happening that when the cameras are not on. All right. That's where the confidence is coming from. It's coming from, do you put in your work? Do you take your luck? You know what Mark Jackson said about LeBron? I'll never forget this because I'm a Miami Heat fan, right? And when LeBron won his first championship with the Miami Heat, this is 2010 or 11. And there was a blowout game. It was a game 5 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. LeBron, Heat boys, the whole team closed it out in 5. It was a beautiful, 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 beautiful day, beautiful experience because all year, the previous 365 days, LeBron had to hear about, you never have the fourth quarter. He don't got the fourth quarter. He can't win the big one. He's this, he's that. He's not Kobe. He's not Jordan. All of that bullshit you had to hear. And he shut all the haters up, and it was so lovely. It was probably a little more lovely for me because I'm a Heat fan, so I enjoyed watching it. But at the end of the day, one of the things that Mark Jackson said while the clock was winding down was, LeBron James takes his lunch pail to work every single day. That hard hat mentality, that Midwestern, hard hat, show up to work every single day, putting in your grind. See, that's the Midwestern cast. That kind of is the way that's the reputation that you have when you one of the Midwestern, Ohio, Michigan cats. You take your lunch pail to work and you do that blue collar work day in and day out. And LeBron has talent to match with that blue collar mentality, which is what makes him the GOAT. In my opinion, is that you got the mentality of a blue collar cat, but you got LeBron James type athleticism and ability, and he takes that lunch pail to work every single day. That's what leads to the confidence. That's what leads to the confidence to where, okay, fourth quarter now, my team is dependent on me. I'm gonna go get it done. That's that firm trust we're talking about, right? So, and I didn't even plan on bringing it up, but that's what it is. That's the core of it. Confidence isn't about ego or charisma. It's about what you've earned by showing up day in and day out. All right. So here it is. Confidence is public. It's public. All right. And I didn't plan on bringing up LeBron, but it was a great example in terms of what confidence looks like. It's actually a public thing. It's actually something that you can see. You can sense phony, cocky bullshit from a mile away. But confidence, woo! There's a difference. There's a difference because it sticks to a person's brain. And regardless of a person's title, you'll see the confidence in another person. And now there's some insecurities that start coming when you see a person who's confident. If you're not that guy, if you're the person that's walking around in the fabricated cockiness bullshit, then you see someone that's truly confident in their shit and you start to feel insecure. That's just going to be the natural feeling. And this is why I'm explaining to you, you need to be doing the work. You need to be doing the work behind the scenes to give yourself confidence, because it will be exposed in many different ways. And it will. So again, speaking to you from experience. All right. So let me give you an example here. So let's talk football. Let's talk football. Let's talk a little football, baby. Let's talk football. All right. Let's talk football, because that's where I learned what confidence truly looks like in real time, under pressure. So I grew up a diehard, absolutely diehard, psychotic, just really, really unhealthy, to the point where it just, to this day, I get scarred by it. All right. I grew up a diehard fan of the Washington Redskins. All right. And let me just say, the quarterback drama alone was enough to test any fan's confidence. But I'll zoom in on a name that still stands out: Jason Campbell. All right. Jason Campbell. There was a buzz. There was hope. Could he be the guy? Could he be the guy? All right, Jason Campbell, just a brief understanding. Jason Campbell came out of Auburn. I believe he won a championship with Cadillac Williams, and there was a couple running backs. Like, it was the same, I think it was the Wildcat thing came out of that and all that. But anyway, so Jason Campbell came in, black quarterback, wore 17, wanted to be the next Doug Williams, Jason Campbell looked like the guy. We all felt it back in those days. And if you're a Redskins fan back in those days, you remember Jason Campbell was supposed to be that cat that was going to come in and be him, man. Him. He was going to take us to the promised land. We had Jason Campbell. We had RG3. We had Jason Campbell, Donovan McNabb, RG3. And, now that to this day now, even though Jaden Daniels took us to an NFC championship, I still need to see multiple years of it, because I've been through too much with them cats. So I finally got my Commander's hat now, and I'm ready to rock and roll this year, so I could really break everything down. But anyway, let me, because if I start talking that, I'm gonna run out of time here. I usually keep these at 35 minutes, by the way. So first game of the season. This was back, when Jason Campbell got the start, and it was Jim Zorn and stuff like that. Jim Zorn was the head coach. So first game of the season versus the New York Giants. All right. The Redskins are backed up on their own goal line. It's a 3rd and goal. And the announcer drops a gem right there. Let me give you some more context. The article doesn't do a great job. I want to give you some context here. I go to Stony Brook University in New York. Diehard New York Giants fans all over the motherfucking campus. And I'm there on campus watching the Redskins, cheering for the Redskins, like, in pins and needles, like by myself. I don't want to be around these motherfucking Giants people, at least during this particular time, these 3 hours. All right. So 3rd and long, and it's 3rd and long. We're backed up. We're backed up on our own goal line. And, again, it's Jason Campbell supposed to be the guy. And there was all sorts of buzz. This is DC now. You got the president of the United States, and then the next thing people are talking about are the Washington Redskins. That's the popularity. The quarterback for the Washington Redskins is looked at as if he's the president of the United States. That's the importance in terms of just how the local community is when it comes to this team. All right. So let's see how much confidence. So the announcer drops. Let's see how much confidence they have in Jason Campbell. What play do they call? You already know what's coming. They ran the ball. Translation: they didn't trust their quarterback. They didn't trust their quarterback to get him out of a jam. And that's the thing. Confidence becomes visible. People can feel it, or feel the lack of it without you saying a word. All right. So I'm going to close you guys out soon, but I want to make sure I'm explaining this to you very, very clearly. When you're backed up in your own goal line, it's a 3rd and goal, right? And you're backed up, and it's a long. It's not a 3rd and goal, but it's 3rd and long on your own goal line. Yeah, it's 3rd and long on your own goal line, and now you have a chance as a quarterback, right? The quarterback, you have to pass the ball. 3rd and long are normally passing situations. Now, we get you're backed up. We get, hey, it's not the best situation for you to get the first down, but we trust you as a quarterback to make the right decision. You're from your own end zone. You're going to see the play. You're going to not take a stack. You're not going to, throw an intentional grounding or anything like that. We have enough trust in you to get us the first down. And depending on the play call, anybody who watches a game of football will know, hey, they trust this guy because they think he's going to get him out of a really, really difficult situation. And the announcer says that here we're going to see. We're going to see how much confidence they have in Jason Campbell right now. Here's what they do. They snap it, run the ball. I believe it was Clinton Portis at the time. I think it was still Clinton Portis at that time. They run the ball, they get a minimal gain, and then they just punt the ball and try to play field position. And then the announcer said it. Just he dropped the mic. He goes, hey, there it is. They don't believe him. They don't believe in Jason Campbell. Plain and simple, point blank, end of story. They do not believe in that guy. And obviously, I believe he's now an announcer for Auburn because, again, that's where he made his probably the highlight of his career was back when he was with the Auburn Tigers and all that. So I believe he's like an announcer with them now. Let me look that up real quick as I close you guys out. Yep, I think he is with the Auburn Tigers now. Yeah, I believe that's what he's doing these days, if I'm not mistaken. I do think that's what he's doing. I think he's like the voice, color analyst for the Auburn Tigers and stuff like that. So he was supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the Jaden Daniels that we see now. Jason Campbell was supposed to be him, just like RG3 was supposed to be him and all of that. So they ran the ball. So that's what we're going to be talking about all week. All week, we're going to be diving into these concepts and understanding how to develop that confidence that you can see in a public way. And how do you see it in people? So what's coming this week on the Move Swiftly platform? We're taking this confidence theme and running with it. Here's what to expect. Tomorrow is Top 5 Tuesday, Top 5 Ways to Develop Confidence. Entrepreneur Wednesday, we're going to be teaching teens to be confident, not cocky, all right? And confidence isn't a personality, it's preparation. It's how you move, it's how you show up. And on this platform, we build it for real. Now it's your turn. And, again, you guys go read the article on medium.com where the articles are available. You can watch this video. I spoke about it a little bit on today's Move Swiftly Thought. And again, business owners, if you want to develop this system in which you're teaching your staff to become more confident in what they do, main website to check out to dive deeper into all of that and then really develop that mentality, it's makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.